What's going on, guys? So, I decided to do a stream this morning. Good morning, by the way. Because I saw something on Twitter about Joe Lunardi's brackets. And so what I've decided to do is I'm going to bring up Joe Lunardi's brackets and see how accurate he is. Because I'm getting a lot of complaints, especially from West Virginia fans, because basically what happened is after West Virginia lost to, what's going on, Wisconsin fan? After West Virginia lost to Baylor, Joe Lunardi dropped West Virginia from a 2 seed to a 3 seed and then put Houston up to a 2 seed. So they got me to thinking. I'm like, let's go ahead and look at Joe Lunardi's entire brackets, because the West Virginia fan base can't be the only fan base that's like, why does he have us seated where he has us seated? So we're going to look into that and see just how far off he is. So I'm over here on let's look at his. So he has on the bubble last 4 buys, last 4 in, first 4 out, next 4 out. So he goes a little bit deeper than I do as far as the bubble goes. I do the last 4 in, and I call it the last 4 out, but he says first 4 out. But it's the same thing. And then he goes to the next level, to the next 4 out. So to him, Indiana, SMU, Memphis, and Syracuse. See, that right there, I have a problem with that right off the bat. Memphis is actually doing really good right now. But Lunardi has them as a next 4 out. I want to look at Memphis real quick, because I really don't understand why he has them on the next 4 out. So right now Memphis is on a 6. We talked about Memphis yesterday. They're on a 6-game win streak. They're 15-6, third in the American. They have a couple of bad losses, but so does Houston. So right off the bat, he's contradicting himself. Memphis right here, win over Wichita State, win over SMU. Those are good wins. Let's see, what else? The loss to Western Kentucky and VCU, those aren't bad losses. Auburn and swept by Tulsa, those are bad losses. But for Houston, they lost to Tulsa. Let's see, who else? It was Tulsa, East Carolina. Tulsa, East Carolina, and Wichita State. And Memphis has a win over Wichita State. So that's a good win for Memphis. So right off the bat, I'm seeing issues with his brackets. I actually have Memphis in my last 4 in, or first 4 in, whatever you want to call it. All right, so let me pull you guys up on my phone so I can make sure I can keep up with your comments. So give me a second real quick. I'm on 2 different devices. Here we go. All right, let me turn down the volume here. There we go. Yeah, I got some lag going on. I don't know why. I noticed that with yesterday's show. Hoping to get that figured out. So, yeah, Timothy said the exact thing, the exact reason why I'm on here this morning. Us dropping down to a 3 seed because we lost to Baylor and bumping Houston up. But that's just a West Virginia perspective. That's why I'm looking at his entire bracket to see how off this guy is. And like I said, right off the bat, having Memphis in the next 4 out makes no sense. Sure, they have a couple of bad losses, but so does Houston. And Memphis is 15-6. They're on a 6-game win streak. They have a win over Houston. They have a win over SMU. I think that's good enough for for a first four in. Are they on the bubble? Yes. Could they still miss the tournament? Yes. But as of right this second, I have Memphis in. So on another next four out, he has Syracuse. Let's look at Syracuse real quick. Syracuse seems to come on strong there at the end. Yeah, do me a favor, Rise. Keep me updated on the lag. So that's your job for today. If a lag pops up, let me know. And when it clears up, let me know. All right, so Syracuse is also a last four. Syracuse into my first four in. Here's why. Look at these last two games. Clemson, North Carolina. Those are two good wins. After this, when they lost to Duke and Georgia Tech, I actually did have them on the outside looking in. But they've redeemed themselves. North Carolina, Clemson, 15-8. I know that 8th in the ACC doesn't look good for them, but the ACC is really, really tight. Really, really tight. One win could bump them all the way up to 4th. That's how tight it is. So I don't really put too much stock into that. And if you go back over the past, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They've won 5 out of the last 7. That's not bad. So I don't agree with that either. Seeing games behind a half a game, and you're all the way up to where Georgia Tech is. That's, 6th, 5th place, something like that. So, yeah, right off the bat, I don't like the way he's got his first four out set up. Uh-oh. I got some lag going on. Bear with me, guys. I don't know why I'm having lag, because I'm working off my hotspot. Usually, that's not bad. The lag's probably going to go in and out. I think the audio is good, though. I think the audio is going to be fine. The audio and the screen saving part, which is the main thing. Me, myself, might lag. That's fine. I'm not the biggest thing for this show as far as what I'm trying to do. So you can see for yourself, 15-8, 8th in the ACC, last two games, a win over North Carolina, a win over Clemson. That's a good win. I have Syracuse in. I have no idea why he has them the next four out. That makes no sense to me. None. So I've already debunked 2 of his. Memphis, he has not the first four out. He doesn't have them even in the first layer of first four out. He has them in the next four out. It makes no sense. Memphis on a 6-game win streak. They do have a couple of bad losses, but they have a really good record. They're finishing strong. I have them in my first four in. Same with Syracuse. They just had 2 great wins against North Carolina, Clemson. They're 15-8. That's a decent record. So I'm not understanding him. So now I'm really, really curious about why he's doing this. Let's go to SMU as the next four in. Let's see if he does anything right. Anything. Give me something, Joe. Give me something positive to say about you. Because right now, I am really wondering why you're giving out brackets. Because you're not making any sense. All right, so SMU 11-4, 4th in. Yeah, I can agree with this because, it's not really SMU's fault because of COVID. I mean, look at this. They haven't played since that East January. I will say, let's look. They do have 1 bad loss against Cincinnati. That's a bad loss. A decent win against Davidson. Good win against Memphis. Yeah, I actually agree with SMU in the next four out. I do agree with that, but that's more of COVID. SMU might actually be a decent team. I don't know. So far, I've disagreed with Memphis and Syracuse. Agreed with SMU. Now let's look at Indiana. Yeah, Rise. I totally agree. Syracuse as a 10 seed. I can buy that. I really can. Oh, Indiana. Yeah, 12 and 13. Why is Indiana even in the next four out? What? See, that's what I'm talking. Like, they shouldn't even be in the discussion. They don't even have a winning record. They've lost 4 straight. So you have Memphis and Syracuse in the same category as Indiana? Why? That doesn't make any sense. I know they have good wins. They swept Iowa. That's a couple of good quad one wins. I get that. Decent win against Stanford, but besides that, nothing. Bad loss against Northwestern. Let's see. Really only one terrible loss, but still 12-13, 10th in the Big Ten. No. You're giving Hoosier fans some hope that they do not need to be having right now. Indiana has no chance of getting in. That's just my take. I mean, you have a losing record and you have them in the same category as Memphis and Syracuse. That doesn't even make any sense. So, he has Duke ahead of Syracuse. So we just looked at Syracuse 15-8. They just beat North Carolina. They just beat Clemson. And he has Duke in a layer above Syracuse. Here's Duke. 11-10. 9th in the ACC. I don't really put much talk into that. But look at this. 2 losses in a row. After they beat Syracuse, yes, I had Duke in that on the line, barely in. But they've lost to Louisville and Georgia Tech since. A bad loss to Wake. No, that's a win. My bad. Sorry. A bad loss to Notre Dame. These are even worse, actually. A terrible loss to Notre Dame. A horrific loss to Miami. A terrible loss to Pitt. Any more bad losses? No more bad losses. So that's 3 really, really bad losses. I'm talking super bad. Good. They do have a couple of good wins. Georgia Tech, Clemson, Virginia Tech, and Syracuse. So they do have some good wins, but they're 11-10, and they have some horrific losses. Horrific losses. Notre Dame, Miami. You can't lose to that. I mean, if you have a great record, maybe slip up, and a loss to Pitt. Yeah, this is unbelievable. I'm not even mad at him anymore. I'm kind of laughing at him. Yeah, I agree with you, Rise. They shouldn't even have a shot at the NIT, and he has them. Well, especially Indiana, he has them still. I mean, that's the next level out, but that's still saying, hey, you kind of got a shot, And so his last 4 in, one of them is Michigan State. I actually have Michigan State solidly in, I believe. Let me take a look real quick. How's my lag? Am I still lagging? I know my audio is good, but I'm not sure about me. Michigan State. They did lose to Maryland. 14-10. Let's see. Rutgers, Purdue, Minnesota. No real terrible losses. I guess their worst loss would be that Maryland. They won against a head-to-head bubble team in Indiana. Beat Ohio State. Beat Illinois. Swept Indiana. Let's see. Rutgers, that's a decent win. And Duke. Head-to-head Duke. Yeah, I would have Michigan State in. Barely. Maybe as a 12 seed, something like that. But I think they have a good enough resume to get in at. As long as they, especially if they can get at least one win against Michigan. Yeah, I have Michigan State in for sure. Couchner, from what I'm seeing, people on ESPN are considering Duke still has a possibility to make it with 11-10 record. Blue blood privilege, I guess. I'll look at them again, but seriously, I'm trying to give Duke the benefit of the doubt. I'm not I'm not just, bashing on them. I try to approach this with a non-biased attitude. But to me, you lose to Miami, you lose to Notre Dame, you lose to Pitt, you're 1 game over 500. You do have good wins over Virginia, Syracuse, Georgia Tech. Maybe 3 good wins. And then you look at most recent, they're very, very cold. Lost to Louisville, lost to Georgia Tech. No, Duke should not have a chance. Maybe if they win. The only way I would see Duke getting in is winning that last game and getting to the ACC tournament. That's the only way I see Duke getting in. Michigan State 13 seed. Yeah, I'm good with that. But the point is, we agree that Michigan State is in right now. So I agree with that. So here's those are the first four out. Here's his Region 1. Gonzaga, agree with that. I'm not too familiar with this conference, so whatever. Missouri 8 seed, 9 seed. Virginia fell to 5. Western Kentucky. See, I told you. Kept wanting to look that way. The camera's over here, Chris. Western Kentucky. I've been telling you guys I have Western Kentucky in, so at least he got that right. Texas as a 4 seed. I agree with that. Tennessee as a 6 seed. VCU, I have them into. So this region right here actually doesn't look too bad. Not at all. UConn as a 10 seed. I don't understand that. I have UConn as on a bubble, first 4 in, but not as like a solid 10 seed. That one, I don't know about that one. And right now, Grand Canyon is one of the best kept secrets. I'm telling Grand Canyon is a good team. I actually agree with that. I think they will win their conference and get that at-large bid. They look like a really good team. But in a conference tournament, you never know what's going to happen. Iowa as a 2 seed. I agree with that. Same exact thing. Y'all saw I had Kansas as a 3 seed. Agree with that. Yeah, I think this bracket is actually really solid. Let me look at Rutgers real quick. I'm not too sure about Rutgers. But from what I'm seeing, that's that first region that he has is 13 and 10. See, a 9 seed, 13 and 10. And Michigan State is barely getting in your opinion? What the flip? I don't understand. And look, they've been cold recently. They've lost 4 out of their last 6, including a loss to Nebraska. That's a bad loss. A loss to Maryland. That's a bad loss. No great wins recently. So, yeah, the Indiana one or Rutgers one doesn't make sense to me. As a 9 seed. I'm not saying Rutgers shouldn't get in, but a 9 seed, that doesn't make any sense at all. They do have a win against Illinois, Purdue, Syracuse. Decent wins in there. That's it for that. But look at that. Look at that. They were on a 5-game losing streak, and they lost 6 out of that 7 stretch. 13 and 10, 9 seed. I don't. Somebody explain that to me. And then you look at recently, like I said, Indiana is their best win. Well, maybe Michigan State, but that's like 2 months ago. So yeah, I don't. That one I don't understand. But besides Rutgers, I'm okay with Region 1. Emphasize okay. I'm not super in agreement, but I'm okay with it. And the only movement I see in Region 1 for him is Virginia. So let me take a real quick look at Virginia real quick. Yeah, UConn is a bubble team. This guy's a bubble team as a 10 seed. That's dumb. And I do have respect for Lunardi because I know how difficult this is, but some of this is common sense. I mean, okay, so Virginia is still first in the ACC. Got them down to a 5 seed. Do I agree with that is the question. Knocked them down to a 5 seed. Well, recently they lost 3 out of their last 5. They did beat Miami. Lost to NC State. That's a head-scratcher. Beat North Carolina, Georgia Tech, Syracuse. So they swept Georgia Tech. Okay, so yeah, I agree with that, actually. Okay, on to Region 2. So Baylor 1 seed. Agree with that. Dadgummit. Yeah. Definitely not a definitely not a 9 seed. I would have Rutgers more on the bubble, to be honest with you. I wouldn't have them seeded as of right now. All right, Region 2. Baylor 1 seed. Good, fine. James Madison, who knows? I don't keep up with the lower conferences. The reason I don't keep up with the lower conferences is anything can happen in those conference tournaments. And usually they're a one-bid league. So even if the best team doesn't win the conference tournament, they're not getting in. So I just let that tournament play itself out. I try not to make any predictions on that. Who's worse at their job, the commentator for West Virginia Baylor game or Joe Lunardi? That's a close one, man. To me, it's related. If I didn't know anybody's names, I would say the two are related somehow, or the same person. Who was that dumb commentator? I don't even know his name. Could have been Joe. Never know. But if I had to make a pick right on the spot, I would actually say the commentator for the Baylor West Virginia game, because at least what the flip? Hold on, guys. At least Lunardi puts effort into his, you know? Was I on the wrong brackets? Because this is looking like a completely different bracket now. What the flip? Did I go to like the wrong one? See, even that. Did he just update this? Well, even if he did, he still has Memphis and Syracuse in the next 4 out. So I still disagree with that. And he still has Duke ahead. He's got Boise State in. He moved them in. I actually agree with that. Xavier in. Agree. Michigan State in. Agree. Drake in. Well done. That looks good, Joe. He must have just updated this because this looks different. Yeah. Because, look, Rutgers is not the 9 seed anymore. See, I told y'all. So that must have been an older bracket or something. Dang, that's crazy. This makes more sense, except for the next 4 out. Syracuse, SMU, and Memphis still in there. That doesn't make sense. But this line makes sense. Rutgers in this is a little bit. I have Georgia Tech actually firmly in and VCU firmly in. So I disagree with that. Look at this. Georgia Tech is the tournament team. I'm going to tell you that right now. Based on what I see right now, Georgia Tech is a tournament team. So they're 14-8, fourth in the ACC. How do you not have them in? How in the world? And look at this, a 5-game win streak, including wins against Duke, Syracuse, Virginia Tech. And so far, no bad losses. Let's see if they have any bad losses. Duke, no. Florida State, no. Mercer, no. Even Mercer's not a bad loss. Let me see what Georgia State looks like real quick. That's the only team that could possibly be a loss. No, even that's not a bad loss. First in the Sun Belt East, 14-5. No bad losses. No bad losses. They are a tournament team. For sure. All right, computer. Go a little bit faster. Yeah, it did just update. But Georgia Tech, I just showed you why Georgia Tech is in. Not whatever this means. They're in. Louisville and Rutgers, I can buy being in that category. But Georgia Tech is in. I'm telling you right now. Even if they lost their last game and didn't do all that great in the ACC, I would have Georgia Tech in. Because they had no bad losses in the regular season so far. And many great wins. They're fourth in the ACC. There's no way that they're not in. I'm sorry. I don't agree with him on that one. So we have West Virginia dropping to a 3 seed. Houston bumping up to a 2 seed. Dropping North Carolina. He has Maryland in, Loyola Chicago as an 8 seed. Loyola Chicago as an 8 seed? Dude, those guys are ranked. He's just totally disrespecting Loyola. Look, 20th, number 1 in the Missouri Valley, 21-4. Let's see here. And they did beat Drake. And any bad losses? Maybe one. Indiana State. I mean, I know they don't play in a great conference, but they look good. Not just, who have they beat, who they lost. They look good. They're ranked number 20, and I know I don't put much stock into rankings, but this is a bit extreme. They're 21-4. I would definitely. I'm not saying Loyola Chicago is a top 4 seed. I mean, y'all looked at my seeds from yesterday's video. I don't have them as a top 4 seed. No way. But as, what was it, an 8 seed? That doesn't make any sense to me. So he has Loyola Chicago 1 seed above Maryland. Let's look at Maryland real quick. So Joe Lunardi, what I'm doing, in case you're just joining me, what I'm doing is I've seen a lot of things on Twitter complaining about Joe Lunardi's bracket, specifically West Virginia fans, because we lost to Baylor. He dropped us down 1 spot and jumped Houston, which makes no sense. So what I've decided to do, instead of just focusing on my team, I'm going to look at everybody's team and see. So what we're seeing now is Loyola Chicago as an 8 seed, Maryland as a 9 seed. How close really are they? Well, Maryland is 15-11. Let's see. Lost to Penn State. That's a bad loss. Lost to Northwestern, their previous game. That's a bad loss. They do have good wins over Michigan State, Rutgers, Illinois, Wisconsin. So they do have some decent wins, but I would have Maryland maybe as a 10 seed and Loyola Chicago as maybe a 6 seed. Definitely not an 8-9 matchup. That is totally disrespecting. And I know his brackets are probably going to be completely different than Selection Sundays, but you never know. They might be in collusion. So, yeah, I don't understand that. So, that matchup right there doesn't make sense. Loyola at Maryland. Maryland's 15-11. Loyola is doing really, really good. And they're only 1 seed higher, and they're matched up against each other. That doesn't make any sense. Colorado is a very strange team, guys. They are super, super strange. 19-7. It looks like they're hot right now. Yeah, 3-game win streak. 2 great wins over USC and UCLA right here. That looks good. Lost to Cal. That's a bad loss. Lost to Utah. That's a bad loss. Lost to Washington. That's a terrible loss. So they have like 3 bad losses right off the get-go. They did sweep USC. That's good. They beat Oregon. Stanford is turning into a okay win. They're playing their way out. So a few good wins. The 5 seed, though. Are they a 5 seed? See, this is what I'm talking about. Number 24, Colorado. And they do have a few good wins, but they also have some terrible losses. So, remember that. Number 25, Colorado, 19-7. Let's see, 4 bad losses. They do have some good wins. So keep that in mind, all right? So let's go back. Colorado, the 5 seed. Loyola Chicago, the 8 seed. Somebody explain. I have an open mind. So if you have a legit argument, bubble team. I agree. Maryland's a bubble team. But if you have a legit argument to reason why Joe Lunardi has Loyola Chicago as an 8 seed, Maryland as a 9 seed, and Colorado as a 5 seed. That little bunch right there in Region 1, I have major issues with. Number 1, Maryland's a bubble team. 15-11, and they just had a bad loss, I believe. Yeah, it was Maryland. Loyola Chicago, on fire, looked great, dominating their conference, 21 wins, just one seed below. Then you have Colorado. They do have a good record, 19-7, but they have 4 bad losses. 4. Loyola only has 1 bad loss. Colorado does have some good wins, and I don't necessarily have a problem with Colorado at 5. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is they shouldn't be 3 seeds higher than Loyola Chicago. I could probably even buy Loyola Chicago being a 6 seed and Colorado being a 5 seed. I could maybe buy that. Maybe. But Colorado being a 5 seed and Loyola Chicago being an 8 seed, that baffles me. I don't understand that one. So this 8, 9, and 5 seeds I do have issues with. Xavier, Boise State playing game, I'm fine with that. Texas is a 4 seed, I'm actually fine with that. Wisconsin a 6 seed, good. See, he has Georgia Tech in on this one, so good job. But higher than an 11 seed, I would have Georgia Tech maybe in that 8-9 matchup for sure. Because like I said, I'll go back to him one more time. He has them as an 11 seed. I think they should be in the 8-9 matchup. 14-8, 4th in the ACC. No bad losses. That Georgia State, not a bad loss. They are first in the Sun Belt. Mercer, not a bad loss. They are first in their league. So they have no bad losses. They got to win over North Carolina, Clemson, Florida State, Virginia Tech, Syracuse, and Duke. That's 6 good wins. That's not an 11 seed to me. That's 8-9 matchup. So I will disagree with him on that one. Kessler says Colorado should be a 7 seed. Maybe. I don't have a major problem with Colorado at a 5. Personally, I would probably have them at a 6. But the big thing was 3 seeds above Loyola Chicago. That's just, that doesn't make any sense. And Georgia Tech as 11 seed, definitely not. I would actually, you know what I would do? In this scenario, I would switch Maryland and Georgia Tech. I would have Georgia Tech as the 9 seed and Maryland as the 11 seed. If you're going to put Maryland in, personally I think Maryland's a bubble team, not fully locked. But if you're going to put them in, Georgia Tech needs to be the 9 seed and Maryland needs to be the 11 seed. So he got those two mixed up for sure. Other than that, Houston, I already talked about that yesterday. They have 2 terrible losses, good wins, but West Virginia has way more wins. Tennessee has fallen off a cliff. They're a 7 seed. I don't even know if I would have Tennessee as a 7 seed. So they're 16-7. They're just struggling recently. They got off to a very hot start. Good win over Colorado. That's a good start. Anything other than that? No. Well, Missouri to start SEC play. So that's 2. Arkansas, that's 3. Kansas, that's a good one. That's 4. Georgia, I'm not going to count that as a great win. So they have 4 up to that. So they have 4. Any bad losses? Yes. Auburn, Kentucky. That's 2 right off the bat. Maybe not as many as I thought. No, not as many as I thought. But 2 recently. They need this win over Florida. So a 7 seed. Do I agree with that? Maybe. They are 5th. They do have some good wins. Yeah. Probably lean more towards the 8-9 matchup, but a 7 is not bad. North Carolina, I think that's too low for North Carolina, actually. North Carolina 10 seed. Let's look at them real quick. North Carolina a 10 seed. What do y'all think about that? So, here we go. 15-9, 6th in the ACC. Decent win over Stanford, although Stanford going in the wrong direction. Good win against Syracuse, but it's the recent ones we're really looking for. Win against Duke. Win against Louisville. Oh, this right here. Okay. Yeah, I forgot that they lost to Marquette. And they just lost to Syracuse. See, this is what I'm talking about. Why Syracuse is on the last four. All right, I'm good. I'm good with North Carolina seeding. Yeah, I'm good with that. I changed my mind. 10 seed might actually be a smidge too high. I do have North Carolina in there. All right, Region 2. Baylor, James Madison. Don't know much about them. Did he really put in Louisiana State instead of LSU? I have never seen anybody write down LSU like the word state and then maybe university, something like that, but then Louisiana and then the state abbreviation. I have never seen that. I have never seen that. That's crazy. Oregon and 8C. Let's look at Oregon real quick. Sorry, guys. That just... Yeah, Marquette's a bad loss. Exactly. Really bad loss. So now I'm thinking that might be maybe a too high of a seed for North Carolina. They might be more on the bubble than I realize. Oregon, 18-5, first in the Pac-12. This is what I'm talking about. Look at that. Look how hot they are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They've won 9 out of their last loss on the road to the Trojans. But in that span, they got a win over Arizona, Colorado, Stanford, swept Arizona, and UCLA. That's 4 good wins right there. And you have Oregon as an 8 seed? No, sir. No, sir. Oregon should be a 5 seed, maybe a 6 seed, something like that. I don't agree with that. LSU as a 9 seed. Or he's saying Louisiana State. Maybe he means Louisiana Tech or something. I don't know. See, it's LSU. Just write LSU, man. That's confusing. It's LS freaking U. Jeez. All right. 15-8. 13. Third in the SEC. Any bad losses in there? Kentucky, that's a bad loss. Good wins. Georgia, Ole Miss, Arkansas. That's good wins. Tennessee, good win. I would probably have LSU a smidge higher, but I don't have a terrible problem with LSU at 9. But Oregon, Oklahoma 5. I think that's actually too high for Oklahoma. I might be eating my words real quick, but Oklahoma a 5 seed. I'm not sure about that. 14-8, 6 in the Big 12. Any bad losses? I don't see any. Oh, Kansas State. Yeah, that's a bad loss. And look at this. 3-game losing streak. Oklahoma is going to drop that ranking, first of all. They just got swept by Oklahoma State, by the way. So that ranking is going to go away. You have them as a 5 seed. They do have good wins against, well, they swept West Virginia. We won't talk about that, though. They beat Alabama, beat Texas, beat Kansas. They do have some good wins, yes, but they are struggling recently. A 5 seed? No. You have Oklahoma 1 spot higher. No. 3 spots higher than Loyola Chicago. What in the world are you smoking, dude? If you're going to put out brackets, do your freaking research. Some of this is fine, but there are some glaring mistakes, like obvious mistakes. Western Kentucky at 12. Thank you. That's good. Winthrop, finally. Thank you. Who's been talking about Winthrop? Your boy. Golden Blue Dude. I've been talking about him. They're in. Purdue as a 4 seed. For some reason, that doesn't seem right. It could be fine, but for some reason, yeah, 17-8, 13 in the Big Ten. They are ranked. Or third. Why do I keep saying 13? 4-game win streak. Okay, yeah, he's good on that. Purdue a 4 seed. Purdue's hot right now, guys. Very, very hot. Texas Tech, 6 seed. They've been struggling recently. Oklahoma 6, in my opinion. Yeah. probably a 7 for me, actually. They're not looking good at all right now. If they can get back on track, then they can rise. So Texas Tech is 7th, 16-8. Any bad losses? I'm not seeing any. No, Texas Tech does not have any bad losses. A lot of good wins. So you know what? I know they're 7th in the Big 12, but the Big 12 is tough. So a 6 seed, yes, I'm good with that. I've talked about Colorado State, so I agree with that. Villanova a 3 seed, yes, they just beat Creighton handily. South Dakota State, see, good win for West. Keep thinking the camera's there. It's there. That's what I'm talking about. South Dakota State is a good win for West Virginia. He has them in. I do too. St. Bonaventure a 10. That's fine. Clemson a 7. Clemson might need to be higher than that, guys. He's on a lot of stuff, not just that stuff. So 15-6, 6th in the ACC. Look how hot they just lost to Syracuse, but 1, 2, wait, we'll go here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They were on a 5-game win streak. They had won 6 out of the last 7. Syracuse, not a bad loss. Any bad losses? Any. None. No bad losses. They have a win over Alabama. They have a win over Purdue. Florida State. This is a really good resume. Louisville, North Carolina. So even though they lost to Syracuse, they did beat them. Swept Georgia Tech. That's a great resume. Yes, I would have Clemson probably as a 5 seed, to be honest with you. Clemson should be ranked. I don't know why Clemson is not ranked. That doesn't make sense. Okay, this right here. Ohio State as a 2 seed. Big problems with this, guys. Big problems. Big problems. All right, so 18-7, decent record, 5th in the Big Ten. All right, but let's look into this a little bit more, okay? They do have some good wins. UCLA, Rutgers, that's good. Swept Rutgers. That's not a great win, but it's decent. Illinois, that's a good win. Wisconsin, pretty good win. Michigan State, decent win. Iowa, really good win. But then look at this. 3-game losing streak. 3-game losing streak. Now, personally, I have Ohio State as a 4 seed. That might be a little bit harsh, but that's just my opinion. They're on a downward slide, and that number 7 ranking is going to go even lower. But a 2 seed, no. I would compromise and say a 3 seed, but not a 2 seed. That's literally not really, I don't like to use the word punish, but it's really the only word I can think of. That's not really punishing them for going on a 3-game skid. I mean, that matters. It really does. I'm not saying Ohio State's a bad team. They're not. They're just in a bit of a rut. But a 2 seed? No, sir. 3 seed. So you drop West Virginia down to a 3 seed just because we lost to Baylor. But Ohio State is on a 3-game losing streak, and you keep them as a 2 seed. Explain that to me, sir. Explain it to me. I don't understand that. Nonsense. Region 4, Michigan 1 seed. Agree. Missouri 8 seed. UCLA 9 seed. UCLA 9 seed. And Oregon an 8 seed. Yeah, I don't know about that. Toledo, I've talked about them. Oklahoma State, I agree with that. Belmont 13. Belmont, yes sir. VCU finally has them in. Arkansas 3 seed. Fully agree. That's where I have Arkansas as a 2 seed. Yes. VCU 11, that's fine. San Diego State, fine. Louisville 10. Oh. Louisville a 10 seed. I don't know about that. I have them in, but they're a bubble team. I wouldn't say a 10 seed. I know they're 4th in the ACC, but They did just beat Duke. I don't know. I don't know about that. I just haven't seen... And that's a terrible loss to Miami. Can't do that. Don't get me wrong. I do have Louisville in. There's a win against Western Kentucky. That's decent. Virginia Tech, that's good. Swept Duke. That's good. Georgia Tech, good. I don't know. I don't know, guys. I'm sticking with my bubble. Not a 10 seed. Definitely a bubble. Oklahoma State 4, VCU 3, Louisville 10, Iowa 2. Yep, got them. Illinois 1. They agree with me. Illinois is a 1 seed for now. Florida and UConn. UConn? What? You have UConn as a 9 seed? Based on what? I know they're third in the Big East, but they haven't played that many games. They did win a good game recently against Seton Hall. But they have losses to Providence. Don't get me wrong. I have UConn in. Okay, so only one bad loss. How many good wins, though? Xavier, that's a decent win. And Seton Hall. 2 good wins. I would maybe have UConn as a 12 seed. Maybe. On my personal thing, though, I had them on the bubble. First 4 in. I do have them in, but a 9 seed? Come on, man. Creighton a 5 seed? Hold on. Is he just punishing Creighton for that loss to Villanova? Because 17-7. This is what I'm talking about. 17-7. Second in the Big East. They did lose to Marquette. They do have some bad losses, don't get me wrong. But they beat Villanova. They beat Seton Hall. They beat UConn head-to-head. Beat St. John's. Swept Seton Hall. Xavier. Swept UConn. St. John's. Let's count these out real quick. I didn't even realize they had that many. All right, so St. John's, that's 1. UConn, that's 2. Xavier, that's 3. Seton Hall, that's 4. St. John's again, that's 5. UConn again, that's 6. Seton Hall again, that's 7. Villanova, that's 8. They have 8 good wins. So you're going to punish Creighton and West Virginia for losing recently, but you're not going to punish Ohio State. Creighton a 5 seed. No, I would have them at least a 4 seed. But whatever. Florida. Yeah, I was getting to Florida. They dropped Florida down to an 8 seed. Let's see what Florida looks like real quick. They do have that win against West Virginia. 13-7. 4th in the SEC. Have had some COVID issues. Any bad losses? Kentucky, Mississippi State, South Carolina. 3 bad losses. They do have a win against Georgia. Great win against West Virginia. That's 2. Swept Georgia. I'll give them that. That's 3. Tennessee, that's 4. Ole Miss, that's 5. LSU again, that's 6. All right, so 6 good wins and 3 bad losses. Florida as an 8 seed. Yeah, I definitely have Florida in. Yeah, I'm all right with Florida at 8, but UConn at 9. I don't know about that. So, by the way, I've talked about Liberty. I'll get back to them here in a minute. I just saw that pop up. Yeah, Creighton a 3 seed, 100%. Kansas, 18-8, second in the Big 12. They're really, really hot right now. They did lose to Texas, but they beat Baylor. Look at this. Look at this right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 out of their last 7. With the win over Baylor. Second in the Big 12. And Kansas is a... Where do they have them? 4 seed. No, sir. I have Kansas as a solid 3 seed. A solid. And I'm a West Virginia fan. I do not like Kansas in basketball, but Kansas is a solid 4 seed. He's got Liberty in. I've had Liberty in for a while. They're having a good season. Drake, Michigan State play-in. Yeah, I'm good with that. Florida State. Okay. Kansas down to a 4. Florida State up to a 3. Okay. Here we go. I was wanting something big. I can bash this guy. All right. Yes, they are first in the ACC and a decent record. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 good wins. So that's the same. No, that's actually one less than Kansas. Bad loss. UCF, that's a bad loss. I'm not saying Florida State is bad. But to have them a seed above Kansas makes no sense. If you want to put them on the same seed line and have Kansas at 3, that's fine. But Florida State should not be a seed above Kansas. It shouldn't happen. Alabama 2 seed. I have Alabama as a 2 seed. BYU is up and coming. Yes. And then Rutgers. This will be the last one I'll look at real quick. Yeah, Florida. I don't have a problem with Florida as an 8 seed. But Rutgers, 13-7, 7. I just don't. And they're very, very streaky. Look, they had 5 losses in a row. Then they kind of played their way back in with 4 in a row, and then 5 out of 6. But then they've lost 3 out of their last 4. They even lost to Nebraska. No. That's a terrible loss. And they lost to Maryland. No. Penn State. Bad loss. No. At best, Rutgers, a bubble team. I would be okay with that. But Rutgers, a 10 seed, that makes no sense. So that's what I'm talking about, guys. Don't get too wrapped up in Joe Lunardi's brackets. He's not consistent. I'm trying to figure out why he puts teams where. It doesn't make sense to me. So, especially if you're a West Virginia fan, as you can see, he's doing it to a lot of teams. I don't know how he does it, how he comes up with his seeding, but yeah, I'm showing you firsthand that it doesn't make sense.